Hello and welcome to our brief guide about briefs. Now there seems to be a huge number of different styles available, so we are going to quickly run through the key styles that we stock here at Plum's Lingerie. And the first, and we're going from smallest to largest, the first we have here is the G-string. Now the G-string is a type of thong. So as you can see here, we have the stringy bit of it, or some people call it tooth floss, or cheese wire. And at the back you can see that there's no coverage on the back, and so this piece is great if you are trying to wear something where you haven't got any sort of line showing at the back at all. Not the most popular style. What we find is that this narrow style is usually popular because of how pretty it is, but on a day-to-day basis people tend to prefer a wider side thong. Now, I say that, but in the last 20 years, and most definitely since we've been open, the last 13, we've seen quite a decline in sales for the thong. And I think this is due partly to the fact we have a lot more new technology in the fabrics and the manufacturing, and I'll show you an example later, which means that you can get a seam-free smooth look but still retain coverage on the brief. However, as you can see with this one, they sit slightly wider at the sides, but again, you've got no coverage on the back. Some people say that they're the most uncomfortable thing since goodness knows what. I've never had a problem. I think it's one of those, either they work for you or they don't. If you are looking for something a little bit sexy, but you don't want to lose any, that coverage, we're seeing an increase in a lot of the collections of what we call a Tango. So it looks like a sort of regular brief from the front, and you'll find a lot of them are made of like a flat stretch lace or something with a fine sort of doubled up chiffon at the back to minimise the show through. You can see here that it sits slightly higher up. You're not getting that full coverage. You'll see a lot of these with the sort of glamorous, sexy sets. They're proving to be really popular as something as, because not only do they look great, they're actually quite comfy as well. Oh. Then we have the boy shorts. Now this is a very pretty sort of boy short. As you can see, it's cut squarer along the hips and square along the top of the thigh. You will get ones that are sort of a full coverage of a more sporty look or something like this with a lot of pretty embroidery. And we found that one of the reasons they are so popular is because you'll get a lot of that embroidery. They're all so very pretty, and you get quite a lot of coverage on the back, but without it looking too conservative, shall we say. Another option, and this is really, when we saw this come in, I can't remember how long ago it was, it sort of really took a lot of attention away from the boy shorts, and I think this is one of the reasons that this is which is called an Italian brief, is so popular, is because it has that classic shape of a brief, but it is a little bit prettier. I have no idea why it's called an Italian brief. The use of countries and cities for naming bits of underwear, I have no idea where that comes from. If anyone does, I'd be delighted to find out. But as you can see, this Italian brief, you've got that lace and embroidery on the back. You've got a bit of coverage on some of them, less on others. So it's quite sexy, quite pretty and feminine. But you're not sacrificing any comfort there at all. You will find with a lot of them, they're quite flat again, so they're not showing through. You will find that if you wear these under something that's not too fine, you won't get any lines there because there's no elastic in that seam. Then we have your traditional pants. This is what a couple of our suppliers call a Rio Brief. And it's really what I would think of as a sort of regular, normal pair of pants. So at the back, you've got your classic full coverage. It's usually opaque, without any decoration. And what you can see here is on the seam, it's actually sewn elastic. This means that you will get some show through. It is going to sit into the flesh a tiny bit. So we sell a few of them, but it depends on what you're wearing. Great if you're not wearing anything that's clinging like tight trousers or anything. Again, I have no idea why they've called it Rio. I don't think it has anything to do with South America whatsoever. And then we've got your full briefs. Now, we do lots of pretty full briefs, but I'm showing you these ones because they're amazingly practical. A full brief will sit right by the sort of your tummy, your natural waist, and these ones have a glued seam. Like I said earlier, there is a lot of new technology. We are seeing laser cutting, we're seeing glued seams to minimise any show through on your clothes. This one here has a slight bit of tummy control. It's not a lot. I mean, you know, you're not going to completely lose your tum. It is just going to give you a bit of a smooth line. See on the back, you've got full coverage. It sits really nice round your bum, no digging in there. And they're becoming more and more popular. I think there is a lot of a retro feel to some of the styles. Great for under dresses because of where your natural waist sits is going to be the same place that the brief sits, and then you're not going to have that double sort of tiny mini muffin top. So that's our quick run through of the different brief styles that are available at Plums and all the different collections. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe. Thanks very much.